your spirit fly. In STEM City by your side, we'll touch the sky. Students lifting students, hand in hand, together we rise, together we stand. Whenever we rise, together we stand. From every corner, from far and wide, our talents merge, our futures tied. In science, tech, and all the arts, we find our way, we play our parts. Reach for the stars, for the stars.
Good afternoon. I'm Moria, your BEYA Stars and Stripes STEM Career Day Student Ambassador. Today's Career Day is sponsored by the leading aerospace and defense company, Lockheed Martin. We would like to thank Lockheed Martin for continuing to support our program. Today's guest speaker, Todd Frech, a senior implementation manager at Adaptive Biotechnology Incorporated, is here to share his insights and his story of success in health information technologies. But before we get to his fascinating journey, let me bring up my fellow student ambassadors, Mimi, Savannah, and Joy, to share their thoughts on today's opening topic, mentorship and leadership. Hello.
Hi guys.
Hi.
Hello. Hello, I'm veteran ambassador Joy Pagan, originator and host of Constructive Conversations, and today we're discussing mentors. We'll start with the quote from Rumi. Be a lamp or a lifeboat or a ladder. Help someone so heal. We'd like to welcome our viewers to participate who has made an impact on your life as a mentor. Please share your thoughts in this conversation and a picture if you have one. So, guys, what do you think about this quote? How does it show different ways people can be leaders or mentors?
Well, I think that, well, what comes with being a good leader is being compassionate. That's where the lifeboat, a lamp, like being inspirational to someone, and a ladder, meaning um, you're not just helping yourself climb, but you're also helping the people below you climb as well.
I really agree with that too. I see it as, you can always find any option or any method to help somebody's path. And, you being someone who's already made it up to the top, you can also, as you mentioned, that ladder to help those behind you to be where you are.
I agree with both of you guys. And for the lamp part, I have a similar type of thought process when it comes to that. I believe that when you're like a light, yes, you're an inspiration for someone, but you're also like the fuel that drives that person to have such thoughts or like to move on to the next thing. So I also agree with that as well.
Yeah, I like what you just said. I think like being a mentor and also having a mentor is super important in life, and it does add fire to the fuel and keep the boat going. At the same time, it also allows us to look at ourselves and to look within us and see if, because we have to be the fuel for ourselves at the end of the day. So it helps us to be like, now that the fuel is added and we have some guidance, it's our responsibility to push that boat. Have you guys had a mentor in y'all's lives before?
Yes. Um, um, my parents they're mentors for me, and they're like your parents are your first teachers. So they definitely um are the people who first show you how to read, how to walk, stuff like that. And also they've been helping me with the beginning of my career in college, and they've been giving me like tips on how to study and how to stay focused and what classes to take and all that. And I'm very appreciative of that. So I would definitely say they're my lamp, lifeboat, and ladder.
I really agree with that too. I would also say a lot of my relatives, especially one, my mom, she's really, I see her as my best friend. She's my mentor too. She's someone that I really look up to. She does a lot of work for both me and my siblings. And I see her, I tell everyone, but I see her as my mentor, but as well as really my superhero. So like, she's like my model to want to keep do better, as well as learning from sometimes her mistakes and sometimes the stuff that benefited her that helped me in my next chapter.
Um, I love that. And this is gonna be interesting, my answer, but mine would be my science professor. Um, so I used to have these short little meetings with my science professor this year for college. But these short little meetings would last like 3 hours, and we would start talking about, like, life, and she was giving me guidance on how to, like, take on life, and even with God, she's helped me, like, create my own relationship with God and really just get my mind to let go of, like, past trauma and to just focus on now and, that God loves us and stuff.
That's
And
amazing.
Savannah, thank
Wow.
you. Savannah, how about you?
I'm not really sure for that question. I feel like a lot of people have influenced where I am right now and like influenced my journey um, for my career and other things in life too. So I wouldn't really be able to pinpoint that, but there's definitely been people who have helped me along the way, which I'm very grateful to. So
Thank you. This was so good. Is there anything you guys want to share about being a mentor or having a mentor? Any last final thoughts?
I think I would say, as Savannah mentioned, it's always hard to pinpoint just one specific person. And
Yeah.
so, even for our viewers, if you know someone, or even if you don't, there's always people out there that do care and that do want the best for you, even if you realize it or don't. And so, even if you can't pinpoint one, two, or you have a lot, this always means that you have an amazing support system.
Yes.
Awesome. Guys, this was such a great conversation today. I can't wait to have more. So I'm gonna lead this conversation back to Moria.
Thank you, ladies, for your thoughts and sharing your stories of mentoring. Viewers, I hope we gave you something to think about, and we thank you for your participation. Now here's Mimi with today's special guest, Todd Frech.
Thank you so much, Moria. And thank you to all of our other ambassadors for that engaging conversation. Hello, everyone. My name is Mimi Nadute, and I am a high school senior. Today, I will be joined with Mr. Todd Frech. Good afternoon, Mr. Frech.
Hey, Mimi, how are you?
How are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Happy to do it. I'm excited.
Thank you so much. We would love to see your presentation and telling us all about your STEM journey. Please share with us how it all began.
Sure. Thanks, Mimi. Um, my STEM journey actually started when I was a really little kid. I was fascinated by science. I was fascinated by rockets. I remember watching rocket launches when I was a little kid. Um, and science just seemed to be something I really wanted to follow. So that was kind of my entree. Both of my parents are in sciences. My dad was a nuclear engineer and my mom was a psychiatric nurse. So they were both very supportive of me going into the sciences. There was only one problem, and that problem was I had a learning disability. And so school was really difficult for me. But because I was so interested in the sciences and I wanted to participate in sciences and I enjoyed thinking about sciences, I went ahead and made an attempt anyway. And I had a lot of really good mentors along the way. And you were talking earlier about mentors. Through your life, you're going to have a lot of different mentors. It's not going to be just one mentor, but you'll have mentors at various points in your career. I had a mentor, a really good mentor, who was a veterinarian I worked for when I was about 15 years old. And he kind of put me on the path of how I could actually get into the sciences. So I'm going to tell you something that this particular mentor gave me today about your career. So let's take a look at the slides. So this is a kind of a little overview of what your career is going to look like in sciences. Right now, you're at the very beginning. You're at the education and training part of your career. You're in high school, or you're about to graduate from high school. You're getting ready to go to college, or you're going to take some additional training. You're at the very, very beginning of that process. And once you get out of your education phase, you'll go to your employment phase. You'll get your first job. You'll start working. The important thing about that first job is that next level, which is experience. So sometimes getting that first job is a little bit difficult, especially in the STEM fields, because people are looking for experience. But once you get that experience, you become extremely valuable in the job market. And that's really the very end part of it, which is once you get your training, you get your employment, you develop a lot of experience, you become very valuable in the workplace. Let's look at the next slide, because I want to tell you something that you can do within your career that will kind of make your whole career take off. And that is, be the person in the room that says yes. And what does that mean? So in my career, when I first started, I didn't have great grades out of high school. I struggled a little bit with school, and I knew it was going to be a struggle, but I didn't give up. So what I did is I ended up joining the military. I went into the military because I knew the military could give me some training, and once I got into that training track for medicine, my career took off. What I always did is I always made sure I was the person in the room that said yes to any project. So if somebody said, hey, we need somebody to work on a new testing process for testing this for this particular disease, I always raised my hand. If somebody said, hey, we have an opportunity for someone to go take extra training on this new instrument or this new chemistry process that we're using, I always raised my hand. I was always the one in the room that said yes. And that really contributed a lot to my career, because being the one in the room that said yes gave me all of that valuable experience. It gave me all of that information, so that when somebody said, hey, does anybody know how to set up a laboratory, I could raise my hand and say, yeah, absolutely, I know how to set up a laboratory. If somebody said, is there anyone around here who could run this particular specialized testing process? I'm an immunohematologist, so I work in blood bank. I was able to say, yes, I could do that. And that really generated a lot of value for my career. And that really drove my career forward.
Thank you so much, Mr. Frech. I thought that was really interesting.
You're welcome.
I would like to invite my fellow ambassadors to ask some questions alongside with me. Joining me once again, we have Savannah.
Hi.
Moria.
Hi.
As well as Joy.
Hi.
Also, for our viewers, please take a moment to answer or ask some of the questions in the chat while we talk about some questions with Mr. Frech.
I loved your presentation today, Mr. Freck. Thank you for that. What do you think was the most rewarding aspect of your career?
So my career has been in medicine, and I think the most rewarding aspect of my career was my ability to actually help patients. And I really, that's what I wanted to do when I got into medicine. I really wanted to be patient focused. I wanted to be able to help patients recover from diseases. I wanted to help patients recover from whatever they were going through, not only from a physical perspective, but from a mental perspective, from a spiritual perspective. So I've always looked to do that in my career, and I think that's always been what's driven me to continue in my career.
I love that. Um, you did say I hate to be the person to keep asking questions, but you did say the spiritual aspect of it. How does spirituality tie into medicine? Like, where
Well,
did you see the connection?
yeah, medicine, in medicine, we see a lot of things that are wonderful in somebody's life, like the birth of a kid or curing cancer for somebody or something like that. We celebrate a lot of the good things, but we also frequently end up having to give people bad news, or we deal with someone who's maybe looking at the end of their life or something like that. And that is a very spiritual time in
Mm,
somebody's life. So being able to support them through that process really goes back to being being what the Rumi quote was about, which was being a lamp, a lifeboat, or a ladder. A lamp in helping someone go through something like that, giving them some leadership, giving them some support, a lifeboat in being there for them and supporting them, giving them what they need, or a ladder to help pull them up and get them through maybe something going on in their life that's not that great.
wow, what a beautiful answer. I love that. Thank you for that.
What
I
are
also have a
some
question. Oh, Maria, you can go.
Oh, thank you. What are some misconceptions people have about your job, and how do you go about combating these?
I think the biggest misconception people have about my job is they don't understand what it is.
Mhm.
So I work in health information technology now, which means I work on computer systems that are designed to manage the delivery of healthcare and manage healthcare information. So a lot of times people are like, I have no idea what that means. I have no idea what you do. Computers. So my mom was one of those people. My mom, she would look at me, she goes, honey, I'm very proud of you. I have no idea what you're doing, but keep doing it. So what I do is something that people don't always get, but the way I like to explain it is today when you go into the doctor's office, they use a computer to record all the information, that they're collecting from you as they do your physical exam and as they do give you prescriptions and things like that. I work on the systems that they're using to manage that.
Mm, okay.
Mm,
That's
that makes
very
sense.
interesting. I love that.
Yeah. Um, one more question. I'm sorry. Um, so you said your health information. So you work with a lot of computers. Did you have to go to college to do that? Like, did you have to major in something like computer science or something?
So I didn't. So my majors, I had two. I majored in laboratory medicine and then did a specialized program in immunohematology. So I actually worked in fields in medicine that really didn't have a whole lot to do with computers. That's not where I was trained. But early on in the development of that technology of medical information technology, I was interested in computers and I decided to kind of jump over. And remember how I was telling you, raise your hand and jump into it? The very first time I was working in a laboratory and they said, hey, we're going to put in a computer. We need somebody to go to school and learn about these computers. I raised my hand. And that became actually the third part of my career. I
I
got all
like
of that
that.
experience and I really, it allowed me to really take off in my career.
I love that. Just deep dive right in. Um, Hearing you talk about your learning disability was inspiring because I actually have a learning disability in math, and sometimes that has been intimidating for me. Because I have to take accounting and a lot of different other like STEM areas, and I haven't. Sometimes I feel like, oh, am I going to be able to do this? Can you tell me about how you overcame your learning disability, or any tips you have for that I could use for overcoming mine?
Sure. So my particular learning disability is dyslexia, and it was diagnosed when I was in the sixth grade. So by the sixth grade, I couldn't do math very
Mm,
well. I was having trouble reading, and so it was really kind of limiting my ability to get through school. So a couple of things happened. One of them was I was diagnosed and I got some additional help. So the first thing I would say to anybody, if you have a learning disability, or even if you don't have a learning disability, you're just having difficulty in a particular subject, do not be embarrassed to go get a tutor. That's
mhm,
really, really important. I had tutors all through school. And I actually served as a tutor. You know, I worked as a tutor for people as well. But whenever I ran into a subject that I was having difficulty with, I went out and found myself a tutor, somebody that could help me. And I, you don't want to be embarrassed about having to do that, you know? So
right.
for me, it was getting a tutor, it was getting help. It was also learning how I learn.
Mhm,
So in my particular case, you can't give me a book and have me read a book and be able to do something. I have to be able to physically put it together. I need a hand eye thing in addition to the book. So that's why when I was learning clinical chemistry, I would struggle with reading the chapter and understanding. But when we got into the lab and we were on the bench and we were doing something on the bench, I was always the one telling everybody else what to do. I was always the
Mm.
one showing everybody else, this is how you pipette. This is how you measure this chemical. This is how you do this process. So, you're going to be good at different things, but if you need help, go get a tutor. Don't be embarrassed about it.
Thank you. I love that answer. And actually, I have done that self-advocating, especially this year, and I've got to talk to all my professors about it. And they've been very welcoming and warming and actually motivated in helping me. And I think to the viewers here today, what I would say is don't let any disability stop you. Actually, dive right in. Take it head on, because at the end of the day, our minds are created to learn anything that we want to learn. So if you just keep working at it consistently, you'll definitely get there. We saw how Mr. Freck has gotten there. So keep going and keep being motivated.
Right.
Mhm.
I have a question.
Um,
Oh.
oh, you can.
um, Thank you, Mr. Frick, for all of the great advice. But I'd like to know, could you tell us a time when you failed at something and how you've overcome it or how you've learned from it?
That's a good question because I fail a lot. you, the reason that I fail a lot is I try a lot. You know what I
Mm,
mean?
Mm,
So if you're not failing, you're probably not trying. So
mm,
a great example was I recently had an amputation. Well, not recently, 8 years ago. I had a car
mm,
accident and I lost my right leg. And when I lost my right leg, that's the kind of the leg you need to drive. You know what I mean? Pressing the gas
mhm,
and the brake. And I had to figure out how I was going to drive without a right leg.
mm,
So my options were not to drive, and that wasn't going to happen because I'm a very active person. I have places to go and
mhm,
things to do. Or I could figure out how to do it. So my first attempt at driving using my left leg did not go well. Did
mm.
not go well. And there is a light post in a movie theater parking lot that will be proof of that if you ever want to see.
Oh,
so but I didn't give up. I said, okay, let me slow down a little bit and let me figure out how to do this and how to do it safely. So
mm,
that's
Mhm.
one example. But my family all kind of laughs at me because he's always into something and he's always making a mistake. But the key is you pick yourself up, you look at your mistake, you assess it, what went wrong, and then you make a change and then you try it again. Don't give up.
Thank you
That
for
was
that.
That's some
so
pretty good advice.
inspirational.
You're a very strong person as well.
I'm a
Yeah.
very
I
good
would like to add something as well. In my school library, there's a like a motivational sign in the study area, and it says um never underestimate the power of yet. I can't do it, and then they have like a little yet sign, and I look at that every time I have to study math or history or government, and it's very inspirational. So that just reminded me of that quote.
I like that. The power of yet. That's really good. Really good.
So one last question I want to put into this conversation is losing your leg. I actually had no idea that happened, but what is the biggest lesson you've learned from that experience?
The biggest lesson I learned is that I couldn't allow myself to just sit. So I
Okay.
had to get back up and I had to get moving. So I ran a consulting company when I lost my leg. And
Mm.
so there was about a year where I wasn't able to travel. And that really kind of slowed down my ability to work. And I realized I didn't like that at all. And so that just kind of put me on the path of, hey, I got to figure out how to get back out there. I have to figure out a way to get back up on my feet, to be able to travel again and to resume my career. And that's exactly what I did.
Wow, this was so inspiring.
Yes, thank you so much, Mr. Freck. I've enjoyed it. And I also, hopefully, I can speak on the behalf of everyone else that they enjoyed it as well.
Well, it's certainly been my
Absolutely.
pleasure. It's been wonderful to talk to you all today.
Before I
Thank
turn
you
it
so
over
much.
to, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you guys off.
No, you're good. Keep
Um,
going. You got it.
yeah, you're good.
Problem.
Over to you.
Before I turn it over to Savannah for our month's STEM inventor, here's a word from our sponsor, Lockheed Martin.
I work at Lockheed Martin as a cybersecurity systems engineer, and I've been at Lockheed for 19 years. The role of cybersecurity engineering has a tremendous impact on the mission to deliver secure systems to our customers. I have 3 children. My kids are the center of my universe. I would not be able to continue working effectively as a working parent if it had not been for the flexibility in our work schedule and the flexibility of our leaders to help me exercise a flexible work schedule. One of the reasons why I've been at Lockheed Martin for 19 years is because I think the culture and the values that we demonstrate really reflect my own personal values. Performing with excellence, acting with integrity, those are steadfast values that we talk about day to day. I have seen great changes in the diversity within our company. 19 years ago, there weren't a whole lot of women in leadership, so the few that we had were highly coveted. Today, I'm proud to say that we see quite a few women in leadership roles. The advice that I would provide to young women and girls who are interested in STEM is go for it. You can do it. Don't let anyone stop you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Savannah Mitchell, and I'm a junior in high school. I currently live in New York, so if anyone is watching this from New York, hi. Currently, I am waiting for school to end. It's June. So everyone's wrapping up school. Everyone's waiting for summer. I'm very excited for summer, as I've been giving a great opportunity. So I'm excited to experience that, and I hope everyone's having a great day. Thank you, everyone, for the insightful interview and questions with Mr. Todd Frech. And thank you, Mr. Todd Frech, as well, for sharing your journey. It was very inspirational. Now, let's learn about another talented individual this time, a living inventor who helped create search engines and URLs, which are the way that we search on the internet today. Have you ever wondered what the internet was like before Google? How did people find specific websites and information? Well, the answer was it was very tedious. You either had to know what you were looking for exactly, or you just had to guess until you found what you were looking for. That was until Mr. Alan Emtage helped to change that process. Alan Emtage was born in Barbados in 1964, and he quickly rose to prominence by graduating top in his class and earning the Barbados Scholarship for college. He later enrolled at McGill University in Montreal, Canada, the same school as last month's inventor, Dr. Charles Drew. There, he earned a Bachelor of Science and a Master of Science degree in computer science, and he brought the first internet link to Eastern Canada. There was a lot of work being done to help organize the internet in the mid-1980s, and Alan Emtage was key to our modern system when he created the first internet search engine called Archie. From there, he co-created BEYA Information Systems, or BIS, with his fellow McGill grad, Peter Deutsch, and they used BIS to power a licensed version of Archie. This system saved time and energy by having a computer sort through all sorts of information, rather than a person doing it by hand. Mr. Emtage helped found the Internet Society and set internet standards as part of the Internet Engineering Task Force. He co-chaired the Uniform Research Identifier, a group that created the standard for uniform research locators, commonly known now as URLs. He also worked with the National Science Foundation, the Library of Congress, NATO, and other agencies as an advisor on the impact of the internet on society. He was awarded the Barbados Jubilee Honor in 2016, and his work earned him recognition in 2017 to the Internet Hall of Fame as an inventor and the first person from the Caribbean to be included. He received an honorary doctorates from McGill University and the University of the West Indies in 2019. He is currently a Chief Technical Officer at Mediopolis in New York City, and he pursues his hobbies of travel and photography. Students, we hope all of you are enjoying learning more about STEM careers at today's BEYA Stars and Stripes Career Day, streamed live from STEM City, USA. Alan Emtage has a great lesson for all of us to take away. Even a small invention can lead to a monumental impact on our world. Next month, we will share another inventor who changed our lives. Please, before you leave, or before I go, please take a moment to complete this poll to decide who our next inventor will be. It's right there. We look forward to seeing Mr. Emtage live in December as a Career Day guest speaker. Now, let's take a quick commercial break to learn more about STEM City USA.
What if you could build your own city? A place where every child can find nurturing people to help them achieve their full potential. A place where every adult can access job training support, where health education is abundant, where social justice ruled the land. A place without limitations. Welcome. You have arrived at STEM City, USA. It is what every city should be. A safe and trusted community where you find people and resources to help you become everything you are and beyond. STEM City is unlike anything you have ever experienced. It is a digital twin of the world around you, only better. STEM City is about energy and soul renewal. It is more than a digital world. You can almost feel the power of live cultural events, music, and theater. STEM City promises a better future for children with caring mentors and hands-on activities with dedicated tutors to support our youth. STEM City is your passport to a healthy lifestyle with weekly events addressing our community's many issues. STEM City is your financial well-being with helpful information on wealth management, career advancement, job training, and so much more. STEM City is the community you deserve. It is the city where your dreams can come true. STEM City USA, a place in the sky that is accessible to all who reach for the stars.
That was Sim City, USA, our 2D metaverse. Today, we talk about mentors and leaders, specifically ladders, lamps, and lifeboats. Our Call-in AI is a resource that shows your STEM professionals that serve all three. Learn more about Call-in AI, the AI-powered library, and STEM City USA. You can interact with our archives and ask questions to locate primary sources from decades of different media. Don't forget to visit stemcityusa.com and enter the Education and Discovery building. Then, enter the library to sign up for your digital library card. Next, we'll turn our attention to Mimi to deliver her signature segment, Mimi's Moments. Over to you, Mimi.
Thank you so much, Joy. Hello, everyone. Once again, it's me, Mimi, for Mimi's Moments, where we talk about things and experiences that I've had since the start of my senior year of high school to the end. As I'm with you guys today, not only have I had my last day of school, but I am officially graduating on the 10th of June, which is 2 days from now, which is really nerve-wracking and really a bittersweet time. I'm excited that I'm starting a new chapter of my life, as well as, getting to try something new. But I'm also really sad that I'm completing something that I've been with for so long. And I want to just say thank you to everyone on here and even our ambassadors and a lot of the people that have helped me got here, because I wouldn't be here without them. In completing high school, I feel like something that I've learned that not only works for high school, but even in life, it sounds simple, but just the mindset of never giving up. There has been so many times where I have dropped that extracurricular or that class or, really biting more than I can chew and resulting in me just wanting to drop it and end it and thinking that, it's so hard, I can never complete it. But something that I would like to leave you all with today is, that obstacle will always be there, whether it's in high school, whether it's in middle school, or even just in journey through life. If you find it hard to overcome this obstacle now, you won't be able to tackle the next challenge that you face. One example I would like to leave you guys with is during my junior year of high school, I took both honors chemistry and honors physics during the same year, which was definitely a time that was very difficult and ultimately left me wanting to quit everything and just drop both of those classes and get over with it, because as I mentioned before, it was too much for me to handle. And there's times where I went to my mom and I told her, I want to leave this class and I want to do something easier. But in that moment, she told me no. And I was so upset and I was so furious. I was crying and I was like, Mom, why would you do this? Why would you make me let me push through these hard classes? I thought I could do it, but I really can't. And she says something that I think about often is, it's difficult now, but I know you can push through it. And even though that year was one of the most stressful times of my life, I felt so accomplished and so reassured that not only that I completed those classes, but I passed with a passing grade. And so I feel like there's so many things in life that you will encounter, and it will be difficult. It's completely normal to feel that it is hard and it's challenging and you want to give up, but it's all about your mindset. If you believe that you can't do it, you won't succeed. If you believe and keep telling yourself that I'm not good enough to complete it, I'm not good enough to do this task, I'm not good enough to take that extra step, you won't complete it, because you're telling yourself and you're telling your mind and everything around you that it's impossible to do it. But it's up to you to take that extra step and be that person to say, yes, it's difficult now, but I see myself at the end of the tunnel. Don't be stuck in that moment and believe that what's happening around you will never change, because it will. There's always a bright side at the end of the tunnel. See that longer vision, see that complete end outcome, and you're sure to succeed. I want to just say thank you for listening. Thank you for, everything so far. I'm so proud and able to say that I've been able to share my moments with everyone. And as I complete this next chapter of my life, I hope that you guys are still interested. Thank you so much for listening. And over to you, Lieutenant Bruce General Crawford.
Well, thanks, Mimi. First, I wanted to say congratulations to you. What a seminal moment, and what a great message. And thanks so much for sharing.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, hats off to you. I just wanted to give you a round of applause. You've done an amazing job, and I expect nothing but greatness from you in the future. So, listen, yet another amazing mentoring experience today, and in the context of what we're doing, so the why of this, I always think about the fact that our future competitive advantage as a nation, because I believe the work that BEYA is doing and the work that we're doing here is really tied to the competitive advantage as a nation. But I think our future competitive advantage is always going to depend heavily on our willingness to invest in our next generation of leaders, like what we're doing here today. There are going to be many challenges, and we've talked about some of them today in life, but I've found that the great equalizer is always awareness that leads to opportunity. And we've done a lot of that today and shared a lot of that today. What you heard here today was an inspiring message from Mr. Todd Frech about not only the importance of STEM, we had a great conversation about that, but also insights about the journey of becoming a STEM professional, which I thought were pretty inspirational. So some of the key takeaways, I really love this, but be the person in the room who says yes to opportunities. Very insightful when you think about that advice and the long-term impact of it. He talked also about overcoming disabilities in some ways that was a little bit vulnerable with us, which was very helpful, just in terms of what that means and what some of the steps that he took to overcome his disability. In this particular case, it was dyslexia. And last but not least, he talked about some of the lessons from failure. And he said something that I hadn't really thought about, but he says, if you don't fail a lot, you're probably not trying a lot. Very useful. And I also love the quote from Moria about never underestimating the power of yet. And so I wrote that down, and you'll probably hear that again. And so until next time, just 3 words of advice to everyone. Believe in yourself and be confident in who you are, first as a person and then as a professional. The second piece of advice is never be afraid to ask why. and challenge status quo, regardless of the task. And then finally, have a passion and follow your dreams. That's it. Again, another great event, another great opportunity to share insights, and looking forward to the next one. And back over to you, Maria.
Thank you, Lieutenant General Crawford. And thank you to all who joined us for Career Day. We appreciate your insights in the chat and your opinions and questions. I look forward to seeing how I can illuminate, support, and advance people in my community as a mentor and leader. Thank you to our Career Day speaker, Mr. Todd Frech, for joining us today and for inspiring today's theme of mentors and leaders and overcoming challenges in life. Please remember to visit STEMcityUSA.com for more BEYA STEM Career Day segments. We would also like to give a very special thanks to our BEYA STEM Career Day sponsor, Lockheed Martin. They are known for their groundbreaking work in aerospace, arms, defense, information security, and technology around the world. Please remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel and join us for the next Career Day on July 13th, 2024, where we'll feature even more STEM professionals, college students, and high school standouts. I'm ready to explore new STEM careers with you. See you next time. This is Moria Bowman signing off.
Every day at Lockheed Martin, we are creating the future. When did I decide to become an engineer? Where I grew up in my village, we had a lot of interaction with nature. So I was always fascinated by the flight of the hummingbird. Seeing this marvelous aerodynamics of the hummingbird gave me this general idea that I wanted to be working on the ability to control things that flew. I've had this long running curiosity, I still do today, of asking the question, why is this the way it is? Are there ways to improve what it does? And in fact, those are the same questions we ask every day at Lockheed Martin. That's why my colleagues come to work saying, this is great, we've done all these great things, we've built all these great systems. How could we make it better? And how could we make it better together? Lockheed Martin's engineers and scientists are at the forefront of innovation. Everything from AI and machine learning to hypersonics to directed energy. Individually, all these are really critical capabilities that we need to develop. To actually deliver something ahead of ready to our customers, it takes pulling these pieces together into an overall mission capability. What we are doing here matters to our nation, to our nation's security.
From every corner.